Yeah. All right. Can you guys hear me in the back? All right. Let's do it. Bill, I'm sorry, but I am obsessed with heat pumps. And you're probably like my wife, who is tired of hearing me talk about them. So instead, I spent the last year meeting a couple hundred other people in Climatetech to hang out with them. And I want to tell you about two of them. So Priya, she's a leader in tech in the Bay Area, and she spent a lot of time with her kids during COVID until the sky turned orange one day, and she started to really worry about their future. On the other side of the country, Sam in New York City, a little bit younger, still trying to find his path in life, got laid off earlier this year. And so he's hoping to take advantage of this time to find a new job that better aligns with his values. Very different backgrounds between the two of them, but they have one thing in common. They were both really excited about climate. And so they went online, they found online communities like MCJ and Work on Climate, they took classes like Terra.do, they met new people, they were learning a lot. Initially, this all felt great. It was really exciting. And then they reached a plateau where they were just feeling like, climate is so important. They were really looking for a sense of belonging and community in person, and they weren't able to find it. And they asked the question, where are all the people? If I really want to be serious and surround myself with climate passionate people, where do I go? So I got obsessed with this question too, and I collected data from job boards from these online communities and found two great studies in climate on hubs. And these studies said that a good climate hub should have a mix of innovation, people, and companies. Now, the top 4 regions that they highlighted won't surprise you. They're some of the biggest cities in the country, and they're also established tech hubs. So number 1 on the list was the Bay Area, number 2, Boston, number 3, New York, and number 4, LA. But the data here is a little misleading, and Sam and Priya would say these are really tech hubs, not really climate hubs. In the Bay Area, if you wanted to go work in clean tech, it's kind of a dirty word still, and Priya learned that most investment is really limited to software. And in New York, there are thousands of people who are active in the community, but for a city of 20 million, that's still not that many. So the title of Climate Hub is still up in the air. Let's look at the next 4 on the list. Denver Front Range, Washington, D.C., Chicago, and Seattle. And I really want to focus on Denver here because Denver is an outlier on this list. It's actually the smallest city by far, and it really begs the question, how is it competing with these larger hubs? At first glance, you might just say, you know what, it must be these labs, NREL, NOAA, NCAR, the great universities, a lot of climate-focused research is coming out of Colorado. Or it might just be simple geography. Denver is at the center of the country. It's a great airport for meeting from either coast, and especially if you're doing business in the center of the country, there's a lot of space for renewable energy projects. If you look a little closer, you might realize that Colorado is actually the 4th largest oil-producing state, beating out Alaska last year. And that leads to a lot of project development experience that in the last clean tech boom led to a bunch of clean energy, renewable energy companies. Now, you also might know a little bit about the commercial industrial economy of Colorado. So I have personally found companies across all 7 climate verticals and every single subsector minus a few, but this slide's already out of date because I found 2 new companies this week. Or there's the Colorado famous governors who are huge supporters of climate investment and climate policy, John Hickenlooper and now Jared Polis today. But my personal favorite theory is the mountains. Mountains in Colorado draw people from all over the world who love to go outside and who see the impacts of climate change firsthand, and they want to stop it. So what can Colorado do? Well, sorry. I'd love to tell you that Sam and Priya thought about all of this, and they moved to Colorado, and they work in climate tech here right now. But they moved about a year ago. They didn't find a hub, and so they went to move near and live near family instead. So what can Colorado do to be that hub for the next Sam and the next Priya? Well, when it comes to innovation, we already talked about the R&D is really strong here in Colorado. On the investment side, it definitely could be better, but it's going to be hard to compete with those major tech hubs. So the key is people. If Colorado becomes the place where you can be surrounded by talented, passionate people in climate tech, companies will follow. Companies like Redaptive, which moved its headquarters with 350 people to Denver this year because of the city's, quote, renewable reputation for being a hub for sustainability and innovation. So my one ask is, when you leave here today, tell your friends, come to Colorado for Climatetech, because we don't have the biggest city, but we have the opportunity to make the biggest community. Thank you.